Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Tic Tac Pod. I know this is a little weird. I'm popping up on the screen and not my mama, but my mama's on vacation right now. And who else? Who else would want to take over for another Sunday? So I'm gonna give everybody a moment to check in. Um, just so we can get some people in here because today we're going to have a really good chat, just a good little open discussion among, I wouldn't say like a lot of different generations, but from somebody who is older and wiser to the younger generation of women. Um, and vice versa. They'll be asking questions to my specific generation, and then just to get a perspective on things. And that way we can actually learn from each other because, believe it or not, you can learn from anybody. My mom is still learning from me. I give her advice that people probably don't even give her, but she listens to me. She understands me. And I just give her a different perspective on different situations because we are two total opposite people. And that's okay. So I'm going to give everybody a moment to check in, come in, um, share this live. Share this live to people who you think would want some advice, ask questions, and we'll get started in a few. Um, I'm producing and I'm producing and hosting today, so bear with me. Also, I have a wonderful co-host, the beautiful co-host that was here last Sunday. She will be co-hosting with me, and we will just be taking over Chick Chat Pod. So I hope that's okay with y'all, because I'm about to bring her up, and we're gonna get started. So let's give it up for Miss Tequila.
Hi, happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday Live at 5 with Chick Chat Podcast. And Jada, glad to see you from behind the scenes and up front and in front of the camera.
Right, I be hiding from y'all.
Look,
My
but
mama be wanting me on here every Sunday, like, you need to get on the camera for what?
that's
I'm
right.
doing the job behind the scenes.
That's right.
That's
Today you're multitasking,
I'm
so
multitasking, so I'm trying to make sure I got comments are open and everything. So yeah. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. I was just telling them like this is an open discussion among different generation perspectives. So if anybody has any questions or want to elaborate or leave a comment on your perspective of different questions that we ask each other, then you can. Um, so if we want to go ahead and get started, um, it's going to be mainly talking about like life transitions, aging, like different identity. People have identity crises, like we, women especially, like we feel like we should. Some people feel like they should stay a certain way, and others have so much going on to where they feel like they got to fit into, different areas of their life. But it's normal. It's normal for change. So I guess we'll get started. Miss Tequila's gonna be big sister today.
I'm big sister and Jada is going to be
I'm
little
little
sister
sister.
today. That's
So,
right.
so I guess we can go ahead and get started. So,
All right.
Miss Tequila,
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
let me put up the. Um,
Mhm.
we're gonna start with life stages and transitions.
Okay.
What's a piece of advice you wish someone had given you in your 20s and 30s? Well, first of all, if you want to say your age.
I'm 41. I'm 41 years young. Um, so when I think about my life history and advice that if I had received it, in my 20s, 30s, early 20s to early 30s, I'd say that would have to be, I guess, to embrace failure.
Mm,
We are, we're taught and conditioned to, attain success. The goal is to attain success. Um, but by being conditioned to attain success, I don't think that we realize how that impacts our mental as we respond to failure.
right.
So naturally, there's a fear of failure for most people. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I've been taught to just embrace failure because there's learning that happens through failure. And of course, learning promotes growth. And so I wish that, I'd been taught, of course, the goal is success, but hey, failure, embrace it, take the risk, take the chance, and see what happens. Because, also on the other end of failure, sometimes, is success right around the corner. So,
Correct. Now, I have another question added on to that because
okay.
um, what you saying embracing failure,
Hmm.
um, I know it's kind of hard, especially for women, um, like in certain career fields or yeah, certain career fields, and we feel like different, like male and females have different, I guess, what can I say, success stories
Yeah, absolutely.
regarding to their career. Like I'm in tech,
Okay.
and so with tech, it's like 80% men,
Okay.
20% women. The chance for a woman to be like in cybersecurity or anything like really successful is very slim to none. But it's kind of changing now.
Mhm.
Um, I guess how would you navigate um, like those obstacles, um, like entering different fields of your like entering different fields.
I think that Well, I think it's important to keep in mind that, navigating life and changes, is gonna come. It's gonna come.
Mhm.
Um, but keep in mind that as we, journey through those experiences, you learn in those. Know when to pivot and to shift your goals and priorities. And I keep in perspective that new opportunities can open up, growth. And so if that's your goal, of course it is when you pursue a career, then a new opportunity could, bring you, new potential for growth. So
Correct.
I have been able to navigate it. What about you, Jada?
Um, so I'm mid 20s, about to be mid 20s, and I feel like my mom has done a great job at like I guess raising me to have different mindsets and outlooks on things because um first of all, I was in a military household. So my mama didn't play nothing growing up. So um I guess the only thing would be like the financial part. Like, um, I remember going off to college, not knowing anything about like credit, none of that, and it was just very hard grasping the mindset like, okay, this is just for emergencies. You got to know what's your emergencies. You got to know what's not your emergencies. Um, Also, like just staying like focused on your path. Like it's so easily to get distracted. Um, as you get older, I realize that the, the distractions get bigger. Like it's not even, you don't realize you're distracted basically until you like 10 steps behind, or you feel like you're 10 steps behind when something happens, and you're like, wow, I just let this distract me, or like push me back or hold me back from where I need to be. So I mean, those are a couple of things. I'm still learning, I'm still growing up. um I know now, like anytime I can ask like my mom and she won't, I feel like usually when I used to ask her, I used to feel like she would like judge me. Cuz I'm like, she probably feel like she's done a great job and I'm like getting off track and stuff. So um now I can ask, and we can, I feel comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations with her basically. So yeah.
Let me ask you something, Jada. So, how do you, or do you find it that there's a need to fit into societal norms as you're, going through and experiencing life, career, young adulthood? Do you find that it's demanding for you? Is there pressure on you to fit into societal norms at all?
You know what? Um, I would say it depends on what the situation is, because I won't say no, because I mean realistically, sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it on certain things. So
Interesting.
I mean, you not really, it's not really like fitting in. It's basically just sometimes you have to accept certain things that's like going on, or accept how an environment is,
Mm-hmm.
because it could possibly, like hinder your success in a certain area of your life. So I feel like our generation, we're more we're more vocal on how we feel
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. Like we're gonna say how we feel and stuff, but sometimes we have to like know that it's a time and place. It's a
Mm.
time
Okay.
for it. So yeah.
Is that easy for you to do? Because I feel like I hear you saying that you learn that the key is to conform.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, do you find that to be a challenge to conform, or you are just so focused on your goal, and if it means that I have to, like you said, fake it till I make it?
No, it's definitely a challenge because
Okay.
I'm literally my mom's child. Like I'm gonna say how I feel. I'm
Mhm.
going to say if I feel like something is bothering me, even in a workspace, I feel like somebody got to hear me. Like it may not be them, but it could be somebody else, cuz
Mhm.
I don't want to put myself in a space where I'm like choosing. I feel like somebody has like one up on me, like, or um they have something over my head saying, like, what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's why I say it just depends on the situation, but it's definitely hard to be like, let me just not, because you be wanting to say it so bad, or you want to,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Okay. I like that. I like that. And yeah, you are definitely your mom's child. And yeah, just
Mhm.
assertive and confident, and
Mhm.
just you know who you are. And so you know Hey, your confidence, you just don't stray away from it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, we got a comment. New
Mhm.
generation. My mom. New generation is very vocal yet very unbothered as well. Very unbothered.
That's right. That's right.
Like I will no longer like as I'm like getting older and I'm like surrounding myself with my like with my generation. I understand certain things like people I guess now we're saying standing on business because that's exactly what we're doing. Like we're literally standing on business. Like I feel like once you say it, you can't backtrack. Like you gotta like, no, this is my beliefs. This is what I believe in. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it, or we could meet in the middle or something.
Mhm.
Everything is not going to be agreed on.
That's right.
Do you think this could be an opportunity to be more of a leader? What exactly? Like being more vocal or
I think she's referring to the idea of you actually being assertive and confident in your, in your profession as a, as an individual. I think that she's speaking to that. So I'd say that you would probably be considered more of an independent thinker. Um,
mm, okay.
because so the further I feel like the further we get away from traditions, um, the more independent in our own thinking, ideas, and beliefs that we become. And so you being,
Oh, the challenges of your generation. Yes. One thing I can say, we definitely want to change traditions. We can it's not like we want to make it what we want to make it. We're
Mhm.
being more realistic in certain like areas of what's going on. Like um there's definitely like scientific facts or statistics saying Gen Z is more like when they're stepping into a leadership role and like political aspects, like environmental aspects, we're definitely more what's it called, active in, you know, in certain situations. Like we're making a lot of changes. Just because we feel like what's wrong is people are comfortable with where we're at, but as everybody is changing and getting older and technology is on the rise and families are on the rise, like we know how to we work smarter, not harder.
You all are definitely like the epitome of leaders. You're leaders in the making. And I think that's what Shadana is alluding to. That's what you all are. The way you all think, and you're less shaped by what you were told and what you were taught. You're
Hmm.
more shaped, you're more shaped and molded by what you were taught, what you actually see,
Correct.
so you're not oblivious to reality.
Correct.
Unlike, a lot of traditions are based on nothing more than this is what my mom taught me, or this is what, my
Or that's just the
grandmother taught.
rules. Like
Yes.
it doesn't even have to be the rules. Like we can still follow the rules, but it's a different way we can go about
Yeah.
certain things. Like you can get like somebody giving me a task. You can tell me what to do, but you're not I feel like you can't tell me how to do it. Like I'm
Mhm.
gonna get it done either way, but you can't tell me how to do something. You could just tell me what to do, what the normal like, procedures are or the normal rules or um what, what you are used to, but I may go a different way, or I was taught a certain way, or I'm navigating different ways to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that, that's what likely separates the younger generation from, the Gen Z,
Hmm.
because you all recognize the goal, and your execution is, your own way. And so I don't know, I think that's somewhat intimidating for,
It is.
older generations, because it's uncomfortable, it's
Hmm.
unfamiliar, and for no other reason besides that, because like you said, you teach your mom, you can teach your mom, you do, my
Hmm.
6-year old, um he teaches me, we can learn from each other. So it's just uncomfortable is what it is.
Right.
But the further we get away from it, I think we're gonna have new societal norms
We are.
where, we're definitely
So,
experiencing it already.
how did your career goals or personal priorities shift as you got older?
Um, hmm. I think that, life, because it's just ever changing, as, circumstances, you know, I moved, um, had kids, as my circumstances changed, so did my career goals change.
Hmm.
When I was single and no kids, my goals were much different than, what they are, being married with 3 kids.
Right.
So, um, as they changed, you know, so did I. Lean in the direction of doing not only what works for myself as an individual, but I have to do what works for, the team.
I would say your family and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Understood.
yeah.
Cool.
So,
What are your, you
ooh.
have any questions for me, big sister?
Do you have? Yeah, I do. Do you have any fears as it relates to the future of your stability at all?
Uh, there's always a fear of failure. Always a fear of failure. Um, Stability, no, because that's what I'm working on now. Like, I'm trying to set myself up to where I can be more than stable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when I get married, when I have kids. Like, I want to be way more than stable before then. Um, yeah, it's just a fear of failure.
Okay.
Change is always like scary for me. Like moving up here was a big shift for me. I literally had to move up here within like what, three weeks, mom? Like 3 weeks for my career change basically.
That was a
And
major transition in a short period of time.
right, like my basically even my family, my friends, like basically up here isolating myself.
Yeah.
Um, so that's always scary, but it's also a learning lesson because you have to leave. My mom always like she literally always told me, she said, you have to leave the nest in order to grow. Like, so that was my nest. I was getting comfortable there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when this opportunity came, yes, it was scary, but it's gonna get me to where I need to be at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm halfway there, and I'm pretty sure when I get there, it's going to be another change or another area I have to be in, you know?
Right. Yeah, because life is constantly changing. So
Mhm.
who do you tend to lean on whenever you have, whenever you're in need of, support, and, through different life transitions?
My mom, of course. Um, Emotionally, my brother. Like, if I need hardcore advice or um like I guess a disciplinary conversation, I'm going to my mom. Like, I need, how do I do this? Where I need to go. I still call my mom at the doctor's office, like,
That's ain't nothing wrong with
like,
that.
um, when's my birthday again? I'm just playing.
You're
Um, but when it comes to like emotional support, my brother, he'll if he don't answer the phone and I text him like, hey, like I need a vent, he gonna step aside whatever he need to do to, listen to me and then give me the advice that I need. And then my grandparents, like my grandparents are amazing.
okay.
Um, I'm trying to pay it back to them now. Like, I want them to enjoy their retirement, enjoy what they're doing, and I want to be able to take care of them now. So that's why I'm trying to get my stuff together because they've done it. They've
Yeah,
done it. So
that's right.
where I go to for my support,
That's good. So let me ask you something. Personal growth, does your personal growth, is it shaped by spirituality in any way?
yes. Um, and the only reason why I would say that is because with my spiritual journey,
Mm-hmm.
anytime I get off track with my spiritual journey, something always happens. Like, I know for a fact I get off course when something happens. Like I said, it's easy to get distracted with
Mm-hmm.
your goals and stuff like that because once you get to a certain goal and you're comfortable, and then you're like, okay, yeah, I'm good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but something happens, you can like. I was raised in a Christian household, so I'm turning to God anything that happens. Like,
Right.
so when my prayer life isn't jumping like it's supposed to be, um,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm not, at least doing devotion or getting off track with church, like that's when my mind gets kind of crowded and cloudy, and that's just like a safe space for me. So, um, I would say my personal growth at least, is centered around my spirituality because I've seen it happen, you know, and I'm living in it. So yeah,
Okay, awesome. I definitely, think that your spiritual journey, it will deepen with age, and so it's gonna be important, to know how, when to apply it, to
right,
your personal challenges that you're gonna face along the way. So
correct.
yeah, okay.
We need to. Okay, so I guess we can go to the next identity beyond labels. Okay,
Mhm.
so when did you feel like you truly discovered who you are beyond the roles society gave you?
Mm. That's interesting. I honestly feel like that's an uphill journey. I feel like that'll probably be the case, until I'm gone. Simply because some roles tend to be like more long term than
Mhm.
others. And, because we are constantly, adapting to life and changing in our roles throughout life. Um, it can be difficult to truly just discover and know for a fact, this is who I am. I'm different from who I was, last week in some way, whether it be physical, the way I think on a certain subject issue, because perspectives are all shaped by different things. So I'm still on the journey to self discovery. I feel confident in, who I am and, the roles that I play at this stage in my life. But I feel like as they change, I'll probably change too. And so, my identity is constantly being redefined.
Mm-hmm.
What I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So, what advice would you give to someone struggling with the pressure of societal expectations? Because there's different expectations for men and women.
hmm
So, what do you feel? What advice would you give to somebody who feels like they have to fit what a woman has society meant to be?
at the end of the day, I think that it's important for us to always recognize that, the life you live is your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have demands placed on you in every role you play, and just existing in life, period. You're not even necessarily playing a role where you're obligated by title, but society is going to place demands on you. And so you have to remember that it's your life to live. And because it's your life to live, try to stray away from influences of others, especially, people that you don't even know for sure has your best interest in mind.
Right.
Be careful with that. So, just remember that this is your life. It's your life to live. The decisions that are made are yours. The consequences are yours. The benefits are yours. Not saying that or to minimize the impact that, your decisions could have on others. Like, do keep that in mind too, when you're journeying through life. But at the end of the day, it's your life. So, keep that in mind. That's my advice to you. If you're struggling with the demands from, different people, loved ones, friends, whoever, live your life for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
How do you adjust in situations where you have demands placed on you, Jada, by others, particularly the people that we care about most? Because, you know, being, rational about it, most of us aren't listening anyway if it's not someone who we
Right. That's
care
true.
about, right? So, how do you feel that, you know,
Um.
of that?
So I have to put in my mind. So my therapist, she brought up a fact that when you put expectations on people, especially people who you love, that's when you like, that's when your mind, because your mind fits on your mom is supposed to do this, your
Mm,
dad is supposed to do this, your grandparents supposed to do this, if your daughter is supposed to do this. Um, that's everybody was raised differently. So I have to put in my mind like everybody was raised differently. They think different. Somebody doesn't think like me and I don't think like them. So I always have an open mind to listen to somebody. Um, but like I said, if I feel like it doesn't fit me, I'm gonna say it.
okay.
But I'm always like open ears. Like maybe I'll consider it, but if it doesn't fit me, I'm just not going to like adjust to that. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
to sometimes I have to go at my own pace.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz like you just said, this is my life, you know. I'm the one that have to live it. Um so if I need to pace myself the way I want to pace myself, I feel like I should do that. Like so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important, I like that. So, well,
All right. So I guess we go to the next, which is embracing change and growth. So let's see.
let's embrace
How do
my.
you view aging now versus how you viewed it when you were younger?
Mm. When I was younger, I viewed aging as something that I look forward to.
Mm,
I long to get older, and because of course it meant, when you're younger, getting older means more independence. And
correct.
so independence, was the goal, right? So now though, I tend to um want aging to slow down somewhat, because the older we get, we realize that, as the closer we get to death, the longer we live, the closer we get to death. And not that, I so much fear death, but it's not something that most of us that are functioning and, thriving look forward to.
Correct.
So I it's just two different perspectives from being, younger and older.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, it's important now. The decisions that I make now are very important, because, I am aging and getting closer to death. And so, the quality of, my decisions, I'm more in touch with, the quality, as opposed to, when I was younger, just doing things and,
Yeah.
trying to get to the close to the independence. So
Right.
yeah.
I guess from my perspective, I want to slow down now
Okay. Why?
because because I turned 25 in 7 months, and that sounds a little too serious for me.
Mm,
25. I just, and like you said, it's more independence as you get older. But I feel like that's my fear. Like I have to be, I have to be independent.
yeah.
I'm so used to being a dependent. So
Mhm.
being an independent, yes, and responsibilities. Like every year, I feel like I get more responsibilities added onto what I need to, and I just be like, ugh, like no. Like if I could just go back to freshman year of college, I will.
So I can imagine then that, like, as you get older, if you're feeling that now, it's gonna be enhanced the older you get. So finding balance is gonna be important.
Hmm.
Important for you to maneuver that, Jada.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just comes with learning and growing. I feel like the more I learn, the less fearful I am. But yeah, now it's just like 25
Yeah.
because I round all my numbers up. 25 to me means 30, and I'm just like, hold on.
Yeah.
That means 30 is like a year from now,
Yeah.
basically.
So, do you have any questions about, planning for the future at all? I know you fear, that age of 25, but it's 25 and up from
I
there.
do.
Okay.
So when you were like in your 20s, did you feel like, because I know sometimes like people feel like they're behind
Mm-hmm.
because they put their age on things. So in your 20s, did you ever feel like, well, let me backtrack. So when people are social media,
Okay.
social media puts out this image basically with people who are like 20 making millions of dollars or got all these businesses and they're successful. And did you feel like that when you were like 2021, 22, where you was like seeing other people doing things and you feel like you was behind, or
No. So for me, I do feel like I was probably ahead of
mm,
my generation in a sense. I um moved out from with my parents at 17 years old. Um
period.
yeah, I graduated high school and went to the military like right away. Graduated May 25th, June 15th. I was gone. So I began to tap into independence at a younger age. And at 21, I was already a homeowner, like buying my first home at 21.
Mm,
Um, Second home, 23, 24. Um, so I never have felt like I was behind um, my generation at all. And I
mm-hmm,
honestly, I've never really stopped to compare. Um, I've always been goal oriented and focused on what it is that I wanted to achieve. Much like yourself, um, I'm an independent thinker, and so I'm not easily influenced or
mm-hmm,
manipulated by others, the demands of others. I don't do peer pressure at all.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I didn't have that challenge that I had to face.
What about like with like marriage and kids? Like I know some people have like I know when I was younger, I used to be like, yeah, like I want to be married by like 25 and
Yeah,
25, have my kids like late 20s. And
yeah,
now that number is out the window because I'm like,
yeah.
25 is next year. Definitely not a ring on my finger. And then the kids are just like maybe early 30s or something like.
Yeah,
So, did you ever feel like you
I
ever
did.
had like
I
age
didn't.
limit?
I didn't. And I think that it was probably for me because I think maybe through life's experiences, I discovered, at a young age that things change fast and I have no control over them.
Mhm.
Um, just like I said, I went to the military right out of high school. My mom signed for me at 17 to go into the delayed entry program. And I got med boarded out of the military. So my plan was never to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I hated school. I had no plans to go to school, but that was against my will because I knew I had to do something after I graduated, high school, went to the military, and then got me boarded out around the second year. So for me, I learned, that you have to adjust and you don't have control. And so, I don't put, you know, timelines on anything. I don't have to, I've never had to, I never thought like that. I need to do this by a certain age or because this person is doing it, I need to do this. Or, yeah,
Yeah,
I really do march to, the beat of my own drum. I really do. Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of I guess in our generation, like there's a lot of young like people get married young or because like some people went off to the military, they feel
Mhm.
like they should be married, have a family. Um, like people graduate college, feel like they should be married, have a family, like, and then later down the line, like it doesn't end up working. Like,
Mhm.
so I
And then
feel like that's another fear of mine because I want everything to fall in place how it's supposed to fall in place. I don't want to ever feel like I'm rushing, not even rushing, just like I need to like I'll be 30 in 5 years. Like I need to like buckle down or I need to go ahead and get married. Like my mama want grandkids. Like like so it's just like I feel like it's just a time. There's a time clicking in the back of my head. Like, all right,
I can see that. I definitely can see that and understand that. But that goes back to expectations. You place those expectations on yourself as well, as society already having its set of expectations and norms that it places on you. So that's pressure. And so when you do that to yourself, like, are you setting yourself up? Do you think you're setting yourself up for failure when things don't go as planned? Because what happens in those moments for you when, I've planned to be married by 25, or I've had my first child by 30, and then 30's here and, you don't have that child, or 25's here and you're not married. Like, what space does that put you in?
right. That's true.
So what about for you, Jada? When you place expectations on yourself, like, how do you readjust when things don't align as planned?
I always go back to the drawing board. Like, um, I feel like I have to realign my focus, not like realign my path. Um, because I feel like if something's not working, or I've been at a place for a minute, I feel like something has to change within that path. So like I've already adjusted to what I'm adjusting to right now, but if it's not working for me or it's not making me grow, then that's when I feel like I should try something else or something like
Mhm.
um I don't know. That's just I guess that's me adjusting to
Yeah.
my expectations. I put a lot of pressure on myself, especially now. Um I don't know. Like I want to be like you said, success is always the goal. Um but I want it so bad to where I put like I'm hard on myself all the time when something goes wrong, and it's okay. So when we opened up and you was like, um, you have to adjust to failures or you have to accept failures. Sometimes it's hard for me to accept failures. Like I can admit to that. Because I feel like when failure happens, I have to like start over or something. Like it's and that's just a hard pill to swallow.
Mhm.
So yeah, I guess just realigning where I want to go after a failure happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you I definitely think that there's a need for, you know, the older generations and younger generations to bridge the gap that we have. So, in consideration, I'm wondering, what are some misconceptions that you believe exist amongst the older and younger generations?
Mm, I think the older generation thinks we know it all, and we may come off as we think we know it all. We don't know it all. We probably just know a little bit more. More, and that's okay. Um, I think that's really the only misconception because I feel like some people, like you said, they're used to traditions. And so
Mhm.
they're used to things being a certain way. So when we want to add our 2 cents or change something up, they feel like we think. we know it all. And that's never the case. We just feel like we know we can probably do a little bit more sometimes.
Mhm. Okay, interesting. Do you think that, because I think that one of the misconceptions about the younger generation is that you all are entitled, right? So you hear people throw it out there loosely all the time, like those kids are so
Entitled, spoiled, like I
yes,
don't think that's I again, I don't think that's like I don't feel like that. Like
yeah. I don't either. I don't feel that way either. But I can see why, there's that misconception. It's just different,
me
up.
too. Yeah.
So, the older generations probably feel like they worked harder
I
to,
was just about to say that.
yeah,
That
they
they
like,
did. And I can't say and I can't take that away from them. They did work harder because they don't have the resources that we have now in our generation. So of course they feel like that. They feel like we're getting handed everything on a silver platter. And that's just not the case. Like we're still learning too. Like we may all be learning things differently, and you probably grew up learning things differently, or you had to work a little bit harder than what we are doing.
hmm
But that doesn't mean that we're entitled or we don't know anything. Like, we
hmm
still have to do some of our work. And that goes to, that's another thing. Like that goes to show we may have to work a little bit harder because our bosses or whatever feel like we think we are entitled. Like, what makes you think, why would we pick you over somebody who's 40, 50?
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right,
Who got 20 plus years in the field or
mhm,
whatever. Um, when you're just coming out of college and da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
sure.
different. We still have to work probably a little bit harder than what, you all had to work.
And I think that because work hard is subjective. I really just feel like it's just different types of work now. It's like,
Yeah, that's true.
like you said, like what's available and accessible to, you know, your generation. Like you said, we had limited resources, you know, each generation before. So, it's just different methods to accomplish the same end goal, using what you had available to you. So,
Right.
and so some people would probably, the younger generation may even say like the older generation is resistant to change, because now, like you said, you get a job and, your boss is wanting to know, why should I hire you over someone, you know, 20 years experience? Well, they have that experience, but is that current? Is that experience
Right.
that 20-year-old experience, is it conducive for the work that we have
Now.
today with the
Right.
resources that we have available for us today? So who's a better candidate when, you're more computer literate and it's for a tech job? So I don't know, like,
Again, depending on the situation.
yeah, yeah.
Some things are meant to stay the same. Some things aren't meant to change.
That's
But there's other things that are meant to be different, I guess, when it's regarding careers, families, traditions. Some things are meant for change, and that's okay. It may not be comfortable, but some things are just meant to be like that.
right. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important though that we, walk away from this knowing that younger generation, older generation, like supporting each other is ideal. That's
Very ideal.
what we need to, seek to accomplish and, you know, learn lessons from each other. Like we can disagree on subjects and both be right. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Nice. So this was really fun. This was a really good chat. I hope that people were listening and getting different perspectives from us and see how people think different and learn different.
hmm
Um, yeah. So, do you have any closing remarks?
um, just the, younger generations, you know, just tap into, adapting to change because change is sure to come. It always does. It always will. And hey, it's the older generation. Just be resilient. Continue to be resilient. Um, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for co-hosting with me. My mama will be back next Sunday for y'all. So, thank you guys for listening today. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Um, and we'll see you next Sunday for Chick Chat Pod, where we chat
Um,
all things women.
you all
You
next
guys have
Sunday.
a great day. Oh, is my thing?